family of Road Break. We're here. Good evening, everybody.
How's it going?
Ryan, Brandon, Juan, right here, reporting for you guys. Hope all of you are having a good time. The beginning of the weekend. We're all here, ready to talk about AEW. So, just very quick before we start, I want to say I don't need to say thank you, but I just want to say hi to everybody that watches the show. I want to say hi to Oskino because Ryan and Oskino have always been interacting, so we appreciate his feedback.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, he's legit. Tom, what is his last name? Libel?
Libel.
Also, we want to say thank you to him because they're all the people that are watching. So we're all pretty excited to talk about AEW today, along with my panel with my guys. See, Ryan is already pumping Halloween next Thursday because that's what he's going to be celebrating. Because he will not be watching Crown Jewel.
Fuck.
So Mr. Ek, Shinsuke Nakamura right there, big fan. And me, I just want to say, yesterday I went to see Ghost for the death metal bands that watch. Great band. Please check it out. Great show. Had a great time. Thank you for the people at Hershey because I had to I had to spend 10 minutes looking for my car. Somebody helped me out on that. So that's nice. Ryan remembers that. We'll take a brief joke. A Royal Rumble.
The Rumble. Yeah, we spent a half an hour looking for it.
Yeah, we'll have an hour looking for the car. So there you go, guys. But I'm here, so it's clearly I found the car. So guys, AW 4 week great show in my view. I think that out of all of the shows I even posted there, the guys also comment. Out of all the 4 weeks, was the best show. Am I right, guys? Start this out, right?
I would tend to agree. I it's between this one and the debut for me. But out of all of them, I would tend to agree this one was probably the best for me. It had two very good tag team matches. I really, really enjoyed this tag team tournament. Um, you know, the tag team wrestling is so good, and I think I'm just drawn to it so much just because we don't see that much of it in WWE. Um, and the way they do it so well here, I don't know what to say. They blow me away here in AEW with that. Um, so that's one thing that I just love to see, just because I don't see it anywhere else quite as well. And I really enjoyed we finally saw a promo segment somewhat with Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho, and I really enjoyed that. So to me, and that's something they haven't done throughout their span so far on TNT. So we finally got to see something like that. They took a break from wrestling and actually did a segment, and that was really enjoyable. And I thought that was one of the higher spots.
And yeah, I want to say that. And just so you guys know, the 4 episode took place Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Mr. Ek, take us to the first match. Lucha Bros and Private Party. This time I didn't say Public Enemy for the ones that like quote me on that. So I'm getting better at this, all right? Getting better. Mr. John Paul Ek, go ahead. Show starts, no introduction, no nothing. Two teams already in the ring.
That I wasn't sure if that was a time thing or if there was an overlap from the movie that was on beforehand on TNT, but they were right in the ring, no introduction, and I mean they were going at it, and I think everything like Ryan said holds true for all these matches. This whole tournament has been great. Everything in it, just all the tag team matches, were so blown away by them because, like he said, when's the last time we've seen a good tag team match like this from WWE?
Yeah, like
we haven't.
Something that Ryan said, and I think that that's probably one of the most, I will say, the most definitive, defined statement is like our brains are calibrated to just watch crap every single Monday and now Fridays. We're like already like thinking that something this good can never happen, and when we see this, we're so blown away. So for me, it's just like I said, when Ryan said that, I think that summarizes everything that like every single wrestling fan thinks. It's like we're so used to because we've been brainwashed by WWE with this certain type of matches, certain kind of pace, certain kind of like even like how the matches last
Hmm.
is so different. So for me, there you go. I feel that like it was like such a different pace. Like it went so quick.
Yeah, and there's a well,
Take us through, Eki.
in this match there was a lot of things I noticed where there's and Jim Ross, I don't know if it's because he has a more old school mentality, because all the wrestling in AEW is definitely modern. The storytelling might be old school, but all the wrestling itself is very modern. And I think Jim Ross is still stuck in the old school mentality, because they'll do a big move in a big spot, and this is both teams. Then they'll pander to the crowd a little bit or taunt, or they don't go for the pin right away. And he's always like, you got to go for the pin, and they're showboating and they're doing this. And he keeps bringing it up. And I notice when commentary brings stuff up like that, it definitely makes it obvious to the audience. And you don't want your audience to be like, yeah, they're not going for the pin. This is stupid. You don't want to not that he's turning the audience against the teams, but he needs to learn that his commentary needs to go with the style of wrestling instead of having an old school outlook. Because that was a thing that I did keep noticing in the matches. Every time a team got the upper hand, they didn't keep it going. It was one big move, and then from one team, and then another big move from another team, and then it was kind of just like stalemate after stalemate. No one could keep the momentum until towards the end, when Private Party got the momentum, and then it kind of switched back to the Lucha Bros. But I mean, besides all that, I mean, it was a great match. I don't think we expected anything less, and all the spots in it, and but all four of these guys are probably four of the most talented guys in the company for sure.
I will say yeah, probably like four guys that are absolutely on like 2 3 levels way up than any tag team in WWE.
Oh yeah.
And for example, Ryan, here's the thing that I want to ask you. Jim Ross said in one of the interviews, because he has a lot of interviews, you know that like he probably after every show he goes to podcasts, to any other outlet and stuff like that. And he said though, is like I love what we're doing, but the guys, yeah, they do flips too much. What is your take on that? And like for example, take me through the best spots of that match.
For me, and I agree with that here. To me, he's kind of like a Jim Cornette, maybe stuck in the past a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I like old school wrestling. To me, I'm a very old school guy, and I think X that way too. We're very old school. We like the old school stuff, but wrestling is always going to evolve.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, but if you don't evolve, you're not going to be able to stay with the game. And Cody's been able to do that. They find all the new guys like this, the Young Bucks, Lucha Bros. So, I'm sorry, but what the crowd really likes today are a lot of spot fests, stuff like that, and that's what this whole tag team tournament has been about. You see a lot of different things like that: tope con helos, tope suicida, stuff like that. That you know through the ropes, over the top ropes, and all these different moves that you're seeing all over the place, and people absolutely eat it up. So if people love it, why not do it?
A lot of moonsaults, yeah. Like it's I
Um,
mean, to
Yeah,
me,
and
that match just makes the match had a lot of great stops. I love the cutters. I love when
oh yeah.
they do the
the,
cutters.
the springboard cutters were absolutely phenomenal, and the one where they did the lawn dart into the cutter was absolutely
Oh
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, so that and for example, and we get all like we get all excited when Randy Orton hits an RKO like that. Now everybody does it.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. So anyway, let me start with you, Mister Jean Paul Eck. Who was your pick for that match? The Lucha Bros or Private Party?
Well, as soon as everything came out with Luchasaurus, he was hurt. My pick and on this side of the tournament was the Lucha Bros. Because like I said in the last week episode, I think Private Party will be there one day. They're going to be champions multiple times in AEW. Their talent is, they have no ceiling on where they can go. But I think the Lucha Bros right now are the team that's got to go forward, and they're definitely going in on this Lucha Bros SCU story. So I even going into it, I was picking the Lucha Bros. But I mean, at any point towards the end of that match, you would have thought Private Party was going over.
When they
It
hit
was
like
close.
what the finish is, the gin and what is
Gin and
it?
juice.
Gin and cranberry juice or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, oh man, they're probably gonna pull the upset. Ryan, the one thing I want to ask you: did it bother you that SCU didn't come out?
In the end, no, because you saw that SCU won later in the night, so that's going to set up for the feud later, and then you'll see that at the pay per view. So in the end, they'll be able to fight, and it will further the feud at the pay per view. So you know, in the end, it's long term booking.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with that. That's something WWE doesn't do. NXT does it. Um, you know, Vince McMahon doesn't consider NXT part of WWE. At least in my mind, he doesn't. But um, you know, to me, I'm okay with it simply because we're gonna see it at the pay per view. So I'm okay with it.
I think so. I feel that the match was really great. I was hoping for SCU to come out, and I kept, they're gonna come out. They're gonna come out. And when the match was over, I was like, I guess they didn't come out, but I mean, the match was absolutely amazing. Pace was really, really fast. What I want to ask you guys, or I mean, just a comment. Imagine more Ronaldo calling this match.
Oof.
Oh yeah,
It would have been a Mamma
that's
Mia mania.
the thing.
Every single move, because Ray Phoenix and Penta, they just hit moves out of nowhere, but Private Party kept up. The whole
Mm,
time they were keeping up.
yeah, and that's the thing with the announce team. I always seem like I pick on them every week, but like Excalibur is he to me can only go up to like if we're saying Mauro Ranallo can go up to a 10, to me Excalibur can go up to like a 6 max. And you got Jim Ross, who's Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone, who's not real excitable either. So there's not a guy on that team that can really bring it and bring the excitement into the commentary.
Do we agree
Because
on
like
that? On that?
I absolutely agree. I'm sorry that to me the problem is Shivani was pretty much the play-by-play guy in WCW back in the day. Okay, but he wasn't the guy who knew all the moves. That was Mike Tenay. And then you had Jim Ross, who was the play-by-play guy who knew all the moves in WWE, but he's old now, and I'm sorry, he's lost a step. So and then you have Excalibur, who I agree with Eck here. He doesn't bring it up to the excitement level where you're drawing fans in and want to continue to get into and get
yeah,
invested in the match.
Yeah,
So
go,
and
go ahead.
he
Go
he
ahead.
he
they don't
definitely
gel together that well.
yeah, he definitely is. Excalibur is good at what he does, but sometimes I feel he tries to say 100 words in a 50-word essay. When he's talking in he's like tries to get a point across really quick, and he like rapid fires the sentence, or he's like talking about something that's unrelated. I don't know if that's something coming in the earpiece saying, oh, promote this or make sure you get this storyline across for this guy and this and that. But I think they just need to like get the announcing a little more under control. It's definitely the weakest point of their show, and it's not even like a major weak point.
I will.
But
I will agree to
yeah,
that.
it's a
I
very
will,
minor thing, but it's probably their biggest thing that they need to work on. That
and
and time management.
and that's a great and
Shows.
that's a great point that you're making because like throughout the whole thing the way that they call the matches and the whole show itself is very monotone. It
Mm.
never picks up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, it's Chris Jericho. I'm waiting for the Jim Rose of Stone Cold, Stone Cold. Like I
Yeah.
don't see this.
And the one thing I like that WWE does is like maybe after matches or something, you cut to the commentary team and you see them and you see their reactions. Like, whoa, what did we just see? Like, what was that? Like, I feel like we didn't see that at all last week.
Yeah, I mean, when Wednesday we didn't see any of that, but for the ones that again are tuning in right now, the Lucha Bros win the match. They advance to the finals of the tournament, and right away we just got a promo from a new wrestler that is coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're just gotta find out who's this guy is gonna be, what is he gonna do, and right away, boom, the second match, the second semifinal,
Yep.
SCU that order. So Ryan, which match did you enjoy the most? That's the question right there.
For
First or
me,
second?
I enjoyed the first match more. Um, just because those two teams are absolutely phenomenal. Not to take away from the second match, because I think that those two teams are pretty damn good as well. Um, But, for me, like, again, I just think the talent of the first two teams is so incredible, and, you know, what they did was so fantastic. I'm not saying that what, the Dark Order and SCU wasn't fantastic because they did very well. For me, I'm glad that they decided to do Kazarian and Scorpio Sky instead of Daniels, because
Well,
Daniels is
yeah.
older, and
If we give an update, like he's supposedly injured. So go ahead.
these two can do a lot more in the ring than he can right now, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the Dark Order right now. That Evil Uno, I mean, my father hates him just because he's heavy. He said, well, his tits are bigger than most women's. Like, but the guy can go. He can do a lot of stuff in the ring. Both of them, on the Dark Order, they can do a lot of stuff in the ring that I really enjoy. And I like the gimmick. I like the minions and everything. The whole gimmick is very good. But the first match to me, just, I don't know. The Spot Fest to me was very good. I enjoyed. Private Party to me is going to be a team that just flourishes and does very well because of how they move around in the ring and just the way that this whole tag team division is geared.
Oh yeah, I would say just a quick comment. To me, Private Party way better than the Street Profits. Way better.
I absolutely agree, but again, I think too, the Street Profits could be a lot better if they were portrayed better.
And also, I think if they will have better teams to play with, and this takes me to the same question to you, Eki. But the question goes: which one of the matches did you enjoy the most, and did it bother you the fact that during the Dark Order against the SEU match, the whole Inner Circle came out?
Yeah, that's the one to
Was it
talk about
distracting for you?
to talk about the inner circle thing first. I would have rather seen that should have been during the Young Bucks match. You shouldn't have had these two tag team semifinal matches back to back. I thought that was bullshit. It should have been the Young Bucks and and the Best Friends. That should have been this match. Then you have them come out because Pride and Powerful were there. They're the ones who are feuding with the Young Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
After the match, Young Bucks said, "We accept your challenge." So that should have been the match they walked out on. Because you had them walk out during a match that's supposed to be extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, it's the most important or tied for the most important match on this card. This is the team that had the bye week in the tournament, so technically the best team in the tournament. Because to go into their brackets, I don't know if you heard that they were like, "Oh, this team is the 8th ranked team in the bracket, or this team is the number 1 ranked team in the bracket."
The number one seed. Yes.
None of that matters because technically they said the Young Bucks were the number 1 seed
Mm-hmm.
when the Dark Order should have been the number 1 seed because they had the bye week. That's usually how it works in like every other sport.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of funky. I don't know who decided that, but I think that they kind of messed that up. But yeah, I didn't like that how they came out. I feel it took away from it. Now I'm actually in the opposite boat. I liked the second match more because I thought everything in it was. It wasn't like in the first match how I said there'd be a big move or a big spot, which was awesome and enjoyable to watch. But then you had like dancing or pandering to the crowd or something a little bit. So this match, it was all guys were getting hit and it was move into move into move into move. And Stu Grayson I think he's one of the most underrated people in this whole roster. Everybody talks about Evil Uno because like his size and the mask and all that, but I think Stu Grayson carries this team.
Yeah, they were pretty
He's
good.
good. And I mean, like you said, Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, like the things they can do, this whole tournament has been a good showcase for them, I feel. Because especially after last week with Scorpio Sky coming in and, wrestling in his jeans and socks, everybody was talking about him. So this tournament is definitely bringing eyes to teams that people didn't, might not have known about, which I like. It's
I
getting all these people
absolutely agree with
notoriety.
both of you guys. Absolutely agree with both of you guys. The one thing I will say to me, Kazarian, I thought that he was already like done, and the fact that he was able to recreate himself with the Scorpio Sky. I
Mm-hmm.
always thought that like Kazarian like was already a TNA guy. Nobody really cares. SCU for me was completely unknown until I start seeing them during the tag team, during this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I just and to me, I just feel that like both of you guys said, Daniels is a little old, so the fact that they incorporated Scorpio Sky did better when it came to the wrestling because they were able to perform a lot of different moves and keep up with the same pace. For example, Lucha Bros, the Private Party, even the Dark Order. And yeah, Evil
Yeah.
Uno, like he can do so many moves, but like I agree with you, Ryan. There's a little bit of breast right there. he's a he's good though. I mean, any of those four going to the final for me, I was going to be fine because I
Yeah.
enjoy good wrestling, and both four of the four of both teams, all the teams can produce that for me.
No, I think the wrong team won. Like I was saying to you earlier, I think you could have done this feud because is the match next week for
Yeah,
the
it is this.
titles?
It is next week. Yep, it is
So it's
next
it's
week.
not going to be on the pay per view.
No, to me probably they will do like a. I
Yeah,
don't know if it's going to be a rematch or the first title defense.
yeah. To me, I would have waited and had it be on the pay per view. But I don't. I mean, I don't know. They haven't steered me wrong so far, so I'm not going to judge them on that. But I would have waited for the pay per view. But I think you put all this stock into the Dark Order. You bring them in and you repackage them because they had to give them a new gimmick when they brought them in. Well, kind of. They were the Super Smash Bros. And copyright reasons they couldn't do that. So you bring them in, you kind of repackage them a little bit, hype them up, give them this first round bye, and then they lose. Because, like I said, I understand there's the SCU story there, but like I said to you, that should have just been the first. If you like have the Lucha Bros win, or maybe have the Dark Order win, and then SCU attacks them in the finals,
Yeah,
and then that's where
it could
they
have been
like.
done in a different
I
way.
mean, which
I can see that.
yeah, just because I don't know. I always like heel champions. I don't like babyface champions too much because I think the better story is the babyface chasing the belt than having the belt.
I'm a
Yeah, it is
big
true.
agree. I agree with
And
him.
and I think you want to have like the best story at the start of your shows. Once you establish for a couple weeks, couple months, then you can put the belt on a baby face and go from there. But
What do you think, Ryan? Like, for example, like I'm going to tell you this. It was the first match that was televised from the Dark Order, and
For me,
they lost.
for me, I agree. The Dark Order, after you have given them so much momentum, the fact that they lost really upset me. So, you know, after you've given them all this momentum now, where do they go from here now?
Yeah,
Instead, to me, I would have given them the win, and then they could go in, and to me, they should have probably been the ones winning the belts in the end. I mean, that's just my opinion. Um, just because you pump them up so much now, why not?
yeah. I agree with both of you guys. To me, that's my thing. My whole thing is like you make this tag team like you given this much momentum. You hire them up, hire them up. It's the first match that they have on TV because in the previous shows we didn't see them at all.
and done
And done,
and
and those
done.
and done and done. What do you
Yeah,
do with that? That's
that's.
yeah.
I thought that was bullshit right away. I was like, I was surprised. I'm watching. I'm like, I really didn't. That was the only one that I was like almost certain. SCU's they're gonna look good, but they're gonna lose. And then when they won, I was like, I don't know. I guess they're going all in on this Daniel's injury storyline and, getting revenge.
I
It is.
almost think it was more for the unpredictability factor
You think so?
I,
because WWE is almost very predictable at times. So they want to kind of stand out, maybe.
but who do you think wins it now out of these two teams? Who would you
Yeah,
guys
there you
think
go.
wins?
That brings me to the next question, guys. Next week, the finals, the Lucha Bros against SEU, and the people that are going to, the tag team that is going to be handing the title, the new AEW tag titles, is going to be the Rock and Roll Express. There you go. You heard on Robert.
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool that they're having
There's the
them
9
go.
o'clocks. There you go. A shot, Brian. Cheers. There you go. Live. There you go. He needs that so he's not done. So wherever, yeah, you can tell he's live. We're recording it like this. And it's his shot of gin and cranberry juice.
Yeah.
Right?
20 coming in at 24 ounces of vodka cranberry.
Yep, yep. Yeah, so now it's 1, 2, 3. So Ryan, anyway, for you, first guy, who wins?
Well, after you've done all this, I mean, both teams are pretty prominent, I want to say, and pretty over. Um, and I think that maybe you have both of these teams right now. You know, it's you're crowning your first inaugural, I guess, tag team champion. So you want to have a big name. So if I'm doing it and you come down to these two teams, I'm gonna put it on the Lucha Bros.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you know who better to represent your company than the Lucha Bros right now. Um, I like SCU, no doubt. Um, unless you do a storyline where Daniels isn't really injured and he comes out and screws the Lucha Bros, which would be badass for me. That keeps the storyline going, and to me it makes the Lucha Bros look strong in a loss. But to me, I would rather have the Lucha Bros win just because what better way to have your first ever tag team
First ever
champions?
tag team champions. Yep, and for you, Mr. Ek.
I mean, he pretty much hit the nail on the head. I agree with that 100%. I think if you are going to have a poster for AEW and you have Chris Jericho up there, everybody knows him. Then you have Riho. She's a new one. She's a wild card, but they're trying to get her over. You're not going to put SCU on that poster of champions as well, because then there's only one person who people know. The Lucha Bros,
Daniels, yeah.
the Lucha Bros aren't a household name, but they're more known than SCU.
Yes.
I really think SCU is getting over in this tournament, but I think you still got to go with the Lucha Bros.
I mean, to me,
that's the direction they went now.
I will say that the SCU, they're the team that nobody ever picked.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, nobody going into this. Nobody ever picked them.
They're the dark horse because nobody ever picked SCU. And when we did our predictions, the three of us, neither one of us said SCU. Everybody said like the Lucha Express. Everybody, the Jurassic Express. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
the Lucha Bros, Young Bucks, Private Party. But neither one of us mentioned SCU. SCU for all I seen in the community everywhere. I thought everybody thought that SCU was gonna just be like gonna lose in the first round.
See, but with that though, they kind of swerved us because we all thought it was going to be Christopher Daniels, and my whole thing was I thought it should have been the two younger guys, the more athletic guys, and then Daniels is in it, and I'm like, oh, this is because he's older. Nothing against him, he can still go, but he's older. They're going to put a younger team over.
Yeah.
So, but then when he was out, then that changed the whole dynamic of it. Because, like you said, I thought the best friends were going to beat him in the first round.
I thought the same thing too. So to me, and once again, I feel that Scorpio Sky, I've actually, I'm drawn to him now because he's a great wrestler.
Oh yeah, he
Before
got
that,
himself over.
I didn't know him that well, and through the tournament, I've been able to get behind him. He's a great wrestler, and I will never forget when he took the tape out of the Band-Aid box, whatever, like the first aid kit that they had, and started taping his hands. That was to me that made the whole moment for me. So for us, I think that we have our things, and if you ask me, I will say exactly the same thing that you guys said, Lucha Bros. Because who better to represent your company? That like Egg was saying, they're not probably a household name, but among wrestling fans, hardcore wrestling fans, they know who the Lucha Bros are because they know them from Impact, Penta in Mexico also. A few, just 2 seconds on that. Now that we mentioned Mexico, Kenny Omega is now the mega champion of AAA. What do you guys think about that?
I think that was.
Phoenix, right?
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, he beat Ray Phoenix, right?
Yes, he beat Ray Phoenix. Yep. So good move by AAA to incorporate this kind of things. See, for example, you have AEW, you have AAA, two different companies.
So Ray Phoenix was that champion before Kenny. Is that what was saying?
Yes.
How come? See, that's the one thing now that you say that I don't like it. Because so Ray didn't come out. There was no picture. I don't
think it's Ray Phoenix. I think it's another wrestler named Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure it's not Ray Phoenix. So, otherwise they would incorporate that.
That's what I was gonna say. Because if it was Ray Phoenix, why wouldn't there have been a picture of him on their Instagram with the belt? Why is it just a picture of Kenny?
Yeah, I think he's a guy, he's a good wrestler in Mexico bullshit.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And
But
then Kenny Omega beat him
yeah,
for the
I mean,
title, and
I
now he's the mega champion.
to me, you got to say it's a smart move by AAA because there's probably more people watching AEW in the United States than watching AAA, and they see, oh, I like Kenny Omega. Oh, Kenny Omega wrestles for them. The Young Bucks wrestle for them. The Lucha Bros. You're gonna watch it.
Oh yeah, like
So
yeah.
it's all smart. It's the same thing how New Japan works with Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
You're trying to get different eyes on your product.
But see, that's the thing. That's, for example, something WWE could do. Merge those storylines instead of like never even acknowledge that there's other promotions around. Acknowledge and merge. Don't you think that we will enjoy storylines if they will? Well, right now in the current state of WWE, like Ryan said to me, preparing for the show is absolute garbage. So
But
nothing can
but
really save the
see
product.
see, see
But
that's the
storylines like that will be interesting to watch, right?
that's the thing there. But all these other wrestling companies, you have like with the NWA, with the NWA Power on YouTube, and you have AEW, Ring of Honor, all these other
Impact.
promotions. They acknowledge that they're not the only wrestling promotion in the world. In WWE's mind, they're the only wrestling promotion in the world.
He just
So
hit the nail on the head
they
there.
they're not going to incorporate these other promotions because to them they don't exist. At
But
least,
see, for example, is the wrong move though.
oh, absolutely. But
Absolutely,
WWE don't care.
but
Yeah,
they
Vince,
don't get
Vince
it.
McMahon is like
Yeah.
sick in the head. He just doesn't get it.
And for example, like we all the three of us know that like if they would have done the alliance storyline correctly, it would have been the best story of all time.
Oh yeah, you'd still be
If they
talking.
would have signed the right people, they would have bring him at the WCW with all the current power. It would have been great. But
But
of course,
again,
they had to mess that up.
but again, they would have had to wait, and they don't like to wait. Vince doesn't like to wait
No.
for anything.
Yeah, look at this Kane Velasquez match.
Yeah,
Yep.
look at this Cain Velasquez. We have a video on that. Yeah, we have the crown
Hey,
jewel expectation that is coming up for you guys soon. But like for example, like Ryan, even like give me like 3 seconds, guys. Let's stop here for AEW. Give me a bracket here, please, Rubric family. Ryan and then John Paul. The punches that Cain Velasquez hit on Shelton Benjamin.
You want me to
Yes, yeah, yeah.
diagnose
Like,
it?
what do you think about the 3 seconds that the guy is out? Is he supposed to look credible or not?
To me, I have not found anything credible about him yet. But I've also read that Vince McMahon does not find him credible simply because of his physique. Okay,
then why book the match?
why would you sign him then?
Why
Because they're
book the
so
match? Well,
scared.
first
You're
of
so
all, why
scared
you
of.
sign the guy, and
You're
then
so
why you
scared
book
of
the
him.
match?
You're so scared of him going to AEW. That's question one answered. Question two answered. You already answered it yourself earlier on. Vince McMahon, he hates to wait. He's a 5-year-old child standing in the toy store. He
Yep.
doesn't want to wait. He wants it now.
He has
And
all that
and
money, and
Mr. X,
he buys everything up.
Mr. X,
Yeah.
those punches are they believable or what? That
No,
was awful to watch,
no,
guys.
no. That's like Tyson Fury throwing those punches on those fake security guards and Braun Strowman and all that, and
On
Cesaro.
the air,
Yeah,
yeah, like
you're
this,
just
yeah.
gonna job out Cesaro to this guy who's punching air. But the
I
whole
will
thing is,
never.
I would have rather had it. Cain Velasquez comes out. You think he's gonna do this UFC shoot style fight? He should have gotten Brock Lesnar's face, and it should have been lucha libre moves. Because then Brock would have been like, "I wasn't expecting this." Threw him off his game, and it's like, "Oh, does Velasquez have the upper hand because he's not wrestling the same style as Brock? He's wrestling this fast paced, jumping around lucha libre style." I think that would have been a better story.
It would have been a lot better.
But
So we guys, yeah, it's just that's why. Let's go back to good wrestling. So
yeah,
AEW once again, we had our 3 minute time of WWE. There you go, guys. Then we have the Young Bucks. Young Bucks against the Best Friends.
Well, before that, it was the promo with Cody, I believe.
Yes, yes. Let's talk about that, Ryan. Don't you? What do you think about the promo? To me, it was nicely done. It was different, and finally we see like something. For example, when he broke the glass, that was great.
I
It was
really
it
enjoyed
was it was beautiful chaos.
yeah, that whole
Like some,
segment.
another podcaster says that. Let me just take it and let me say it one time. Beautiful chaos. The fact that DDP came out, to me, that's awesome.
huge pop.
It's because
Huge
DDP is still
pop.
good. I
And
will
Did he?
never forget Ryan and DDP had a whole conversation about the yoga thing. And he
Oh,
actually
yo,
did the diamond cutter for us. Great
DDP's the
guy.
man, dude. If you hate DDP, I got a problem with you because he's the man. I don't know how you
We'll,
can dislike the guy.
we'll block you from Robreak forever.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
in
mean,
anybody
dude.
that is a hater from DDP,
Yeah,
block.
if you watch
right?
his, not to go off on him, but if you watch his channels on YouTube, if you don't like get emotional seeing all the people he helps, you're freaking dead inside. It's a
Right?
You don't
great.
have
Oh
blood
yeah,
running through your veins. You
yeah.
don't have blood running through your veins.
Oh yeah, he's the
And
man.
we gotta be thankful for DDP because of Jake the Snake Roberts being alive. We gotta be
And
thankful for Chico, Razor Ramon, and
the
so
bad
many other
guy.
wrestlers. Yeah. So what do you think, Ryan? The whole promo different, break
I
the whole
really
wall.
I really enjoyed it too. How it started in the ring. It was going to be an interview, and how Jericho interrupted, and he took a shot at WWE. How he said, "This isn't like the other company where we came from. You know, I can come up there and kick your ass."
Oh yeah.
That's how it started.
Yeah.
Jericho was hiding behind, his goons and everything, the inner circle, and it's how many of us versus you, and then all of his, people started coming out, and then they all stormed up there, and like you said, when he took the towel and punched the glass just to break open the door, that
That
was
was
great.
that was so nice for me, and and it wasn't like messy like the ones that WWE those fights that like they throw you under the hot dog stand. It looked
Mhm.
kind of nice when he got the
No,
ice cream.
The
Like
the Dippin' Dots.
yeah,
yeah.
Dippin' Dots sent a tweet out to Cody Rhodes, and he actually sent it out on Twitter because they sent a tweet out to Cody, and it said, "Please don't like destroy our ice cream anymore, and we'll make a flavor for you, and we'll call it Rocky Roads."
Oh,
And
so
that's cool.
yeah,
yeah,
and
it was
he,
cool.
I actually that was funny though. I think when Jim Ross was like,
Egg,
"Got the
what do you
Dippin'
think?
Dots." I thought it was good. It was like you said, it was realistic. It wasn't like, oh, we got to spray the guy with like ketchup in his face or like smash him in the relish in a hot dog stand. Like it wasn't gimmicky. It looked like a legit fight.
yeah,
I love how Jericho was a coward the whole time. How he's like, I'm a fan. I have tickets. Get this
yeah,
guy away from me. That was the
That was
best.
great. That was
That
great.
was
And
the
like I
best.
have tickets. I
Yeah,
came here
yeah,
with
that's what I mean.
tickets.
Like it was
that
so
was heel
because
Jericho at his best.
to me it would have been bullshit if Jericho was beating up Cody and got the upper hand. It was funny to see him being scared and trying to run away more than fight. I thought it was a great segment and it got Cody over because going into this, I'm gonna be honest, I was like, man, every week that passes, I could almost see Cody winning it. Just like not saying it's a political move and Cody's giving himself the belt, but just I don't know. I'm like, I just got this feeling. But then when I see Cody get this upper hand here, I'm like, ooh, I think Jericho. You're not gonna make him look like a coward and then lose the belt.
Yeah,
But
Yeah. Well, like to the one statement going along to what you just said is when Brandy said like he needs to win.
mhm.
And I was thinking the same thing that you were thinking because I'm like, they're gonna put a belt on him because they wouldn't do all this big video package that we got last week.
The
With all
thing,
this inner circle and
yeah,
everything.
the
But
thing with
now I think it looks like it's gonna be even.
yeah,
Or
I would book
bullshit.
this. I would book it where he loses, and then after the match, you kind of have MJF there, and you think, oh, his friend's gonna help him, tell him, you'll get him next time, kind of deal, and then MJF turns on him.
that would
Uh,
be
I think
great.
that's got
You
to be
could
the
get
story.
more heat on MJF.
Yeah, like Cody loses, he's down. Here comes his best friend to cheer him up, and kick to the face, salt of the earth. Done.
All I'm saying, AEW, WWE, I have two guys right there in front of you that can help you write in storylines. So please give
Mm.
these two young talent, handsome, ready to go, a shot. Please do it. So I mean, I enjoy the segment. Different to see Jericho. Like I have the tickets, and he does like what Ryan always taught me that the heels have to do. They have to be cowards. They have to just
Mhm.
go out. They don't fight. It reminds me of the good JBL at his best.
JBL's title run, I love in 2004.
So that's what like a heel does. That's
Uh,
whatever he has to do to not fight and to run away.
you
So
hate you hate JBL's title run just because of Taker.
I hate that run because Taker always lost. But you know what? I understand the mindset of a heel, and I think that it was the right thing to do. So now, Mr. Egg, the Young Bucks against the Best Friends. The Best Friends lose one more time. Question for you.
This,
Orange Cassidy was right there. He was finally involved. Good match, but at the end, the Young Bucks get the win. What do you do with the Best Friends?
yeah, like I said to you, this match, I tweeted when this match was announced. I'm like, why are we seeing the Young Bucks? To me, this was just an answer to last week when Santana and Ortiz had their squash match, their showcase match. To me, that's what this was for the Young Bucks, except it was actually a competitive match because AEW is investing stock into the Best Friends as well. But this match wasn't needed. I would have rather have seen a new team who you're kind of trying to build, but not yet. I would rather see them debut a team, maybe go 3, 4, 5 minutes with the Young Bucks, lose, and then they call out Santana and Ortiz. Because I feel they should have looked just as dominant calling out Santana and Ortiz instead of going in this back and forth really good match that they could have lost and then being like, oh yeah, we accept your challenge. It's like, yeah, well, you barely beat these guys, and they had a third guy come out and help them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
also you're beating the Best Friends on television again. Now, like you said, where do they go from here? I don't know. I think they kind of just got to float around, maybe do a storyline with Orange Cassidy. Maybe they can be in a program with the Jurassic Express. You know,
That's
I
what I
would,
mean. And even Orange
yeah,
Cassidy was involved. So that takes me to Mr. Weber. What do you do with the Best Friends?
For
Second time
me,
you lose. Yeah, what do you do with them? They keep losing.
for me, I would have booked it a different way, and I'm going with Eck here. To me, the inner circle should have came out during this match and got involved in this match. That way, the Young Bucks could have gone up with Cody during this match, kind of got distracted, and the Best Friends could have won against the Young Bucks. There's no way then the Young Bucks look weak during the match.
hmm
Young Bucks can lose. Best Friends get a win at least. I don't like because I saw this match right away and I'm like, why are the Best Friends going to lose again?
I thought actually they were going to give the win to the Best Friends. Just because when I saw that Orange Cassidy got involved. And to me, I understand this type of matches, you need some kind of momentum to go into pay-per-view. But why don't you just do a video package?
yeah, that's it. I don't. And
Because
you're
the fact
supposed
that
to.
you're involved in Orange Cassidy in it, and actually he tried to help out the Best Friends, and yet they lost.
Yeah, that's like so the Young Bucks almost won a handicap match,
And that's what I mean.
and
It's like three out of two, and still they win.
and you're supposed to have so many. We probably still didn't even see half of their roster. Probably only seeing 40% of their roster right now, so they say. So you have all these different tag teams. Debut a team like I do. That's the one thing I don't get. We're on week 3. Is it week 3 or 4?
Week four.
A 4.
We're on week
Week four.
4. So it's like at this point, debut a new team. I was actually complaining about that on Twitter, and then I think the next match they debuted I forget what I think Hayter or something was her last name, and against Britt Baker. What was her name?
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
they debuted her. So they actually did have a debut on this episode, which was nice. But I was like, this would have been the perfect spot to debut a team. Because like you said, you're almost jobbing out the Best Friends, and it's like, where do they go
And to
from
me,
here?
they're a decent tag team.
Yeah, but
They're
they're
pretty good.
still over. All they need to do is hug in the middle of the ring, and the whole crowd's gonna
They
pop and get behind them. So they're
Well,
not buried, but it still was a questionable decision for
well,
sure.
but to me, like the point that I'm trying to make is just like I know they're over, but being over that doesn't necessarily like mean that you're gonna win. Just
Yeah,
see Rusev with the Rusev Day thing. Actually, that they buried that gimmick
yeah,
by making him lose all the time. But I just mean like, if you are like a mm, team that people actually like, don't just have them lose all the time. And
yeah.
especially if you have a guy that doesn't do
As, as,
anything much to be involved, and when you
as,
get him involved, they actually lose.
yeah, especially in AEW. If this was WWE, like, and this is probably wrong of me, but if this was WWE, I wouldn't be so harsh with teams losing because that's just the law of the land. But in AEW, they always say wins and losses matter so much. Every time somebody loses, I really think about it going forward. Because if
I
wins and losses mean that much, it's like this loss could make or break someone's chances at a title. or
I
number
agree.
one contendership. So it's like, you know, it's a little sketchy, but we'll see where they go from here.
I agree. I agree. So, well, to just go really quick on a few more matches here, Dr. Britt Baker, she debuted, she went against a debut, Haker. I think it was her last
Jamie,
name.
Jamie Hayter.
Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, she's
Doc,
actually the partner of B Priestley in what was that? What's that promotion? All Star or something?
I think so.
It's all women's promotion in
Yes.
Japan.
Wow.
I'm gonna look it up. Keep talking.
Yeah. So really quick, Britt Baker went over. She came back to Pittsburgh. She had the Steelers terrible towel going around. Ryan, very quick. This match, did you like it? I think out of all the whole show, I will say this was one of the lowest points.
For me, yeah, I wasn't really that invested in the match. I got into it at points just because the crowd was into it a little bit because it was Britt Baker's hometown. Um, I think that this Jamie Hayter kind of got a little bit of offense in, and I did enjoy watching her a little bit. Um, so I have to say I did enjoy that. I don't think it was that bad of a match. But again, too, I don't see their women's division kind of improving any. Like I haven't seen any improvement really.
Yeah, it's a Stardom is the promotion, but
Term, okay.
I agree with you with that. And the problem is they have so much talent there. They're definitely second to NXT with all the talent they have, I feel, but there's no stories are being told yet.
Yeah.
They maybe started to tell a story with that post-match attack by Brandy Rhodes, which I was saying to Juan, I didn't find believable because I don't find Brandy Rhodes to be credible in the ring, and I don't find her to be intimidating. The
Yeah.
only thing intimidating about her is her position of power and her money.
Yeah.
Her physical self is not intimidating.
No,
To me,
she's
Jamie Hayter, even after the match, could have wiped the floor with Brandy, but she comes up and just attacks Brandy in that or Jamie in that interview, and I was like, where are they going with this? And then there was nothing more the whole episode, so I thought that was a little confusing.
yeah.
But I think you need to start telling stories with these women. Get like more than one feud because the only feud now is Britt Baker and B Priestley.
Yeah, and
That's
then
the only
there's
feud out of all these women. They could have had to me, Riho and Nyla Rose. I don't know if Nyla Rose is hurt. We haven't seen her since she lost, I feel.
mhm.
But that should have been a feud. Keep going.
It would have been nice.
You know what I
Plus,
mean?
plus Nyla doesn't have a win.
Yeah,
And
I
but
mean,
see, like, yeah, the problem is, like you guys are saying, like, there's no continuation when it comes to the women's division. And the
mhm.
women's division,
And
like, is the one of the
yeah,
lowest points, and they
and
need a lot of work.
I'm not trying to shit on Brandy, but I'm pretty sure she's the one who's in charge of the women's division, or she's at least one of the major figureheads that is in charge of it. So I don't know what the booking is or what's going on, but I definitely think they need to light a fire under that and get the women's division
I
going.
will, I will say that.
Get two women's matches on the next show. Just
I feel that, like,
start getting stories going.
for full gear, I saw like a tentative card, and it's Rhea Priestley against Britt Baker. I saw that's going to be one of the matches, and Riho going against one of the Japanese women,
But see that,
Nakazawa.
that's the whole thing. The the pay per views in what, like 2 weeks,
2 weeks.
3 weeks.
So there's not going to be any build up
Yeah,
to
there's
matches like that.
no build. There's a
No
little
build.
bit of build with the Bea Priestley storyline, Britt Baker, but other than that,
Like they need to, like,
There's no build
this
for
is a
Riho.
work in progress, but I feel that, like, we're still getting excited. The mood is there, but
Oh yeah,
unfortunately, the women's, yeah, is the one thing that they need to work on. So
yeah.
moving along, guys, Ryan, take us through a great match that actually sent in this guy that, like, started out as a guy that, like, many people knew, but they were not really in the know of what he could do in the ring. Kenny Omega against Joey Janela.
I think that these two have a lot of like really good chemistry in the ring. Because these two, I believe, wrestled on Dark.
Yes, yes.
And they
2 weeks
had
ago.
yeah right, and they had a really good match there. And they showed again how great their chemistry is in the ring. Um, throughout the match, back and forth. I don't think a lot of people give Janela enough credit. I think they think he's just a crazy lunatic that just does some crazy shit in the ring. Can do diving stuff and does thumbtacks, and he's more of a hardcore guy than a wrestler.
Because that's his
Where
main style is hardcore. Yes.
yeah, and he can prove that he can go toe to toe, and that was nice. I like to see that he put on a hell of a match with Omega. But it's nice too that when you watch his match with Omega, that to me he kind of put Omega over a little bit more just because he was selling Omega stuff with, like, you heard the V trigger a lot big with him. I didn't hear throughout the weeks I've seen with Omega. I don't think I heard the V trigger as loud that I heard with, like,
Janela.
So I mean, he really took that really hard. I like that. And I like that the match went back and forth. It was going back and forth constantly. Not to the point where I thought that Janela was going to get a win, but at least he took the one winged angel, and that's what ended the match.
And done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Egg, what do you do with Janela though? Two different things. Great. Like, for example, you texted me when the match was taking place, and you said this guy's a badass.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
what do you do with him? Because the guy is great. Like, I agree with Ryan. His style might be unknown for some kind of people, but I feel that, like, he was able to actually wrestle in this match.
yeah.
So he
He
can do
like
both. He can be hardcore and wrestle. What do you do with a guy like that?
before
Two losses,
this.
though.
Before this, we thought, oh, just a hardcore guy, but then he really proved that he can go. And this, I think, was to prove to the fans and also to prove, to AEW and to the staff and, everybody, like, hey, you don't need to just book me into hardcore angles. I can wrestle. I can go. I'm good. I'm trying to get better. This and that. His stock is only going up.
Yeah.
Where does he go from here? You need a mid card title. I don't want to say you need one because a feud shouldn't need a title if the storytelling's there, but you need to have all these other guys fight for something.
At
That's
some
where I
point,
think
you have to
that,
develop a mid card.
yeah, that's where I think that this is going to go. I think AEW Dark is going to definitely help with a lot of feuds. There'll be backstage segments and maybe set stuff up. I really don't know what they do. They could feud him because there hasn't been many weeks of television for interactions. So I don't know where he goes from here. I don't think he'll fall into obscurity or get stuck in catering or anything. I think he'll be taken care of. But
Well, yeah, and
where does he
Omega
go?
also, like,
I can't
Omega
really
looks good.
say. I think
Omega look
he'll
good.
I think next time we see him, he's going to have to win, whether that's in a tag team form, just a random tag team match on AEW Dark or something, or, in a singles capacity. But I think next time we see him, he's going to get a win.
And that set a really nice space for Kenny Omega. 2 wins now because he's recovering from the 2 losses that we have with Jericho and the loss that he had against Pac, the bastard, or Neville. For
But I think speaking about that, though, with Kenny, I think after what we saw next, I think Kenny's going to win that. I think his winning ways are going to continue into the pay per view.
Well, and that takes me to the main event. John Moxley against Pac the Bastard or Adrian Neville, whatever name you want to call it. There you go, Ryan. Start us off. Your thoughts. Match to me goes. It was nice. It was a nice match, but they used the one thing that we mentioned that they didn't use yet.
The time limit draw.
The time limit draw. So did it work for you? Did it make you want to feel more? Did it make you feel like, okay, so next week when they start the show, the match should continue, or what they should do? Your thoughts about this match?
For me, I saw a lot of people kind of shitting on it. The fact that it was a time limit draw. I absolutely was fine with it because I didn't think either of these guys should have a loss. Um, I don't like the gimmick of Pac or the fact that he's called the bastard, but he's such a good talent, good wrestler, and he's got some momentum right now. And Moxley is on fire right now, and he can't lose. So to me, neither guy should have a loss right now. So the time limit draw, to me, is very good. You have both guys didn't lose; it went to a draw. I don't think either guy is looking weak. And at the end, I thought it was really good. Right now, Moxley's character is developing into almost like a Stone Cold like character, where he's
Oh yeah.
anti-authority. When he did the paradigm shift onto the referee, because he was so pissed off that he didn't win the match, because he almost did at the end, but you know, you know, Pac kicked out right at the end, and then the time limit draw kicked in, and it was the end. And he gave it to the ref because he was so pissed off. That was beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. I got that vibe. I
Go
got
ahead,
that
Mr.
vibe.
Eck.
I got that vibe from All Out when he came out and he attacked Kenny and Jericho and all that. I was like, this is a Stone Cold. He's not a heel. He's not a face. He's his
Right?
own.
He's
He's
his
like his.
own,
Oh yeah,
like, just
yeah,
entity.
yeah. DTA. Don't trust anybody. He's all for himself, and that's it. And I like that. I feel like you need that character because a lot of people will attach themselves to that kind of character. You know,
Yes.
because they like that. But I mean, I agree with you and everything. This match, it was how are they going to book it? You can't have Pac lose or Pac lose. You can't have Moxley lose. So this was the way to do it. But then I think you're going to have Pac interfere in this match with Kenny and Moxley in some way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I would book it. And then Kenny wins,
To me, that's
and
absolutely fine because
because
you at least everybody looks strong in the end.
yeah,
And you have a history.
there was a
History,
segment.
both of
I don't know if you guys follow them on Instagram and check, but there was a segment they were interviewing Pac, and they were like, "Oh, you know, asking about the match," and he's like, "Oh, John Moxley, if you think this is the end, if you think you've seen the last of the bastard, you know, you're wrong." Blah blah blah. Like I'm gonna come for you, and he was calling him out. So it's essentially setting up. Well, if we don't see him on Wednesday, you know, we don't see him Wednesday after that, you know, pay per view. You know, that's what I think they were setting
I
up,
feel that
which I
like that
like.
will be what takes place after Full Gear. I think that like if there was a situation where they could have used this time limit thing, it was this situation, and they pull it off
Mhm.
beautifully. I know,
Oh
like
yeah,
Ryan said, there was a lot of people shitting on it, but
no,
I
I
don't.
don't.
I don't agree with it because even it says in the match when Justin Roberts introduces the match, it says whatever time is remaining.
Mm.
So you kind of knew that
Speaking of
it's
Justin
into.
Roberts, can we just
To me, when he does
This
that,
bad.
I remember when Ryan and I first met, we used to do Gian. See, when he does Gian, Justin Roberts is by far the best announcer in wrestling
Mhm.
since 2014.
Yeah.
No one can compete against Justin Roberts, and the fact that like he was so mistreated in WWE, shame on them.
Hey,
Shame
he
on
has
them.
a book out now, and he shit all over WWE. So good for
His
him.
book is also notable, but we don't do that. We don't promote that, okay?
No,
Yeah,
Other
who
people do. We don't promote Audible.
I
So
would
if you
say
want to
like,
read
you know,
it, fight.
you almost gotta put him up there with the Fink, you know, like
for me, for me,
they're
yeah. I
good.
mean, like, just because he does his own stuff,
Yeah.
he's
And
very creative.
look, he got over
Exactly.
because how many people
That's the word. That's the word, Ryan. Creative.
yeah.
Like, thank you for mentioning that, Ek, because I love Gian. Because even he did that with Jeff Hardy on
Yeah.
08. He'll be like, GF. It was absolutely amazing. Like,
Yeah,
that's
and
the
people
thing.
love it.
That's the one thing, for example, like, and this just, let me tie this up with the one situation you guys said. What is AEW lacking? The commentary.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why can they be as excited as Justin Roberts is when he's introducing the wrestlers?
I have an idea that I think they should do, but I don't know if they're going to. Taz has been doing commentary for Dark, AW Dark.
Mhm.
To me, that might be an area where they can go because Taz, to me, was always a very good commentator.
I agree with that.
I wanted to listen to AEW Dark before we did this so I could commentate on that. I didn't actually get to watch it yet because I want to see how his commentary is. Because I agree with you when he was on, like in 2003 to whenever that was, like he was good for the commentary.
Mm-hmm.
But then sometimes I feel he needs a strong person with him. You know, we might not like Michael Cole now and this and that, but like the two of them together were good
That's what I
because
mean.
Michael Cole is good despite him being so okay. I can't believe I said he's good, but he knows what he's doing. So
To me,
he could lead a guy like Taz who might not know all the ins and outs, But
And here's the thing,
Taz
like,
is still passionate. He still brings that passion when he talks about it.
but see what like for example, like Ryan always said this to me because Ryan always like says this SmackDown. The best time was SmackDown was the 202,
Yeah.
03, all that time with Taz and Michael Cole. But see, Michael Cole at that time, I don't think he had the Vince McMahon's in his ear. He
Oh
was
no,
able to actually
definitely.
take his own thing,
If he did,
and
it
he
definitely
sounded
wasn't that
incredible
bad.
and
Yeah,
excited about things.
yeah, that's the
For
thing. I
me,
would get.
when Michael Cole was at his best, it was him and Taz. When
Mhm.
Yes.
Michael Cole went off to Raw and he was it was the Michael Cole show. That's when he went downhill.
And what
Yes.
happened?
Yes.
He went to Raw, and it was done.
It was
Uh,
done.
It
Yeah,
was done.
everything that like happens like to when you go to Raw is done because
oh,
Raw hasn't been good. The last time that to me Raw was good is when like the Evolution storytelling and the storyline was taking, but even at that time it was a little crappy for you as a fan because like I always used to tell Ryan, every number one contender will get his ass kicked and no one ever came out.
no, and it led
But
to some people leaving.
I will say to you guys, like the match going back to Moxley and Pac, it was decent, but to me one thing that like you Ryan and you Egg, have said also still the time management when it comes to the whole show how it's formatted. I think they still need a few tweaks because for
Mm,
example the main event, give it like 20 minutes.
yeah, I think
Even,
it's all
especially if you're going to have the whole introduction,
you
Gio,
need to have. You need to. I don't know what the actual issue is, so I can't really comment on it. But if I'm just guessing, you need to have it where, all right, we have 2 hours. We go on at 8, and they're changing from AEW to the next show, or I guess they replay AEW, but we're going to replay the broadcast at 10:01 on the dot.
actually
So,
no,
so
now they had actually a movie.
oh, okay,
Oh
so a
no, they
movie.
have a show. They had a show because actually they replayed it at like 1 a.m.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, it's like if you know that they're switching over to whatever at 10 o'clock on the dot or 10:01, you need to have the ref in there. All right, these guys need this much time. I don't know if they don't know how long the matches are going to be before they go out there, and they're doing like a Shawn and Razor at WrestleMania, and they're calling it in the ring and screwing everybody else over, taking up their time, or what the deal is. But it needs to be something where the ref says, "Hey, this main event needs 20 minutes. You guys got to. You have 5 minutes. You guys got to end it."
Yeah, I
You know what I
exactly.
mean? There needs to
What
be
are your
more
thoughts?
time
Very quick,
management.
Ryan. What are your thoughts on that?
For me, yeah, again, they're kind of in their infant stage right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to have time management down like WWE does, where they can get everything down, even though WWE does 400 segments a night. Um, but at least they get them down and they go off the air right at the right time and they have everything down.
Yeah, yeah.
So to me, as long as they continue to go week by week, I think they'll have the management down and they'll have everything, kind of scheduled out
And
properly.
for the family that like is watching us, we don't even have their own time management down. We'll say we get
Oh
this
no.
done in like a half hour. Look, it's like an hour and 3 minutes, and still
But
don't
see,
have it down.
but
So
see,
they're way
that's
better
the
than
thing.
us.
We're not nitpicking, and we're not saying, oh, AW shit because they don't know how to manage time. It's just like what is wrong when everything else on the show is so good. The little minor things stick out.
Yeah.
You know
If
what I
you
mean?
ask
When
me, guys,
everything else
very
is
quick,
perfect, then the little things will stick out.
very quick, guys. If you ask me, I will just try to do a little bit what NXT is doing right now, having that overlap, maybe like 5 minutes, 5 6 minutes, and that will be my take on that. I will just use what WWE. Remember, they used to do like half hour. They used to go
Yeah.
like even
I mean,
longer.
if you
I
got to
will use
think,
5 to 6 minutes.
if I was Tony, Tony Khan has more money than anybody, in the history of anybody. So why are the whole Khan family just be like, hey, we're bringing in 1.2, 1 point whatever million viewers every Wednesday. Let us have this 5 minutes. Let us
Yeah,
have
let us
10
have five
minutes
minutes.
overrun, and you
Just
just
do it
pay him
the
for
time.
you pay him for the overrun, whether you use it or not, because more often than not, you will use it.
Yeah. So, guys, closing thoughts. Are we excited for week 5?
Oh,
Thing is
absolutely.
taking place for full gear. I feel.
Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, I make sure I'm at home. You
Amen.
know.
Yeah, like it's so refreshing to just feel good as a professional wrestling fan. Finally, we're not being looked down to like like this. You watch the legit wrestling or the fake one. Actually, it's really good to feel that like these guys are actually making us feel like we belong to something that is actually credible, that is actually good. It feels good to be a
And
wrestling fan.
and
Thanks to AEW.
one thing I want to say about Wednesdays is because I know we haven't been talking about it too much. NXT was a good episode, but this week, but we'll save that for a
We'll
future
save
rope
that
break
for
episode for
tomorrow,
sure.
guys,
For
because
sure,
tomorrow is
yeah.
going to be a busy schedule for us. The three of us will be together, so we're going to pump that up. We're going to get together. We're going to be talking about SmackDown Live. We'll talk a little bit of NXT, and we have a whole rant. Ryan and Jean Paul Leeg are going to rant about how glitchy this game has been. WWE 2K20. Ryan has been playing nonstop. That's why he's tired. That's why he wants to go to sleep, because he's been seeing every single glitch about this freaking game that got us all excited. And at the end of the day, it's still garbage, and it's actually worse. It's actually worse than from the ones that we used to buy. Can't even play it. And I will say to you guys, they changed the freaking thing in the game. The how to play. They changed the
Yeah,
button.
all the controls, yeah.
They changed the controllers. So I can even play it now. How am I supposed to be good? So
Well,
guys,
If I can play it with one hand, you can play it.
but I
I'm
gotta
telling,
get used to it.
yeah, yeah,
Mr. Egg had the audacity to say that after the second match, I'll be okay. We'll see,
yeah. I
because
said, I
guys,
said I got
Facebook
used
Live
to
is
it.
coming. We're gonna be playing, the three of us. We're gonna be playing for the WWE. We should play for the AEW, but we have to play for the WWE Championship. So
Yeah,
watch
'cause
us tomorrow. It's gonna be live.
custom championships in this game.
Oh well, even we can even see the titles because they glitch. So
Yeah.
there's gonna come out with like a strap, nothing
Who knows?
attached to it. So
Maybe her hair
guys,
will be glitching like Becky Lynch, 3 feet off above her head.
yeah, or like the glitches with the referees and everything, but everything. We're gonna talk about everything. And Ryan, Mr. Egg, me, we're gonna be in ranting mode. So you better stay tuned. So I want to thank
It'll
my
be a good one.
brothers. So you guys, get ready, because there's gonna be a lot of road break for you. So I'm gonna start thanking people when you start watching. So you better do that. So thank you guys for all this good analysis. Thanks to my brothers. Have a good night. We'll be back for you tomorrow, guys. So,
Ah,